We've had a very cool and wet spring and early summer here, but even so our garden is brimming with life. Today I thought I'd share with you some of the crops we've been harvesting in early July here in Zone 5. I'll start with one of our favorites, dinosaur kale. These plants were started indoors way back in February and transplanted into the garden in April. We've been harvesting the bottom leaves regularly since May, and the plants keep getting taller and putting out more leaves. They easily grow as long as my arm, but remain tender enough to eat raw. This kale will be used in a pasta dish I'm making tonight. Now let's take a look at this bed along the fence. It only gets about 4 hours of direct sun a day, but that's enough to grow Georgia collards, giant red mustards, and purple top white globe turnips. We've been harvesting the collards since May, and at the moment they're very picked over. The mustards are all volunteers that came up very early in the spring, and now they're going to seed to produce the next crop. We just recently started harvesting turnips, and we enjoy eating both the greens and the roots. This is one of the sunniest beds in the garden, which is why we're growing tomatoes and zucchini here. But back in April, we took advantage of this sunny location to get an early start on romaine lettuce. We've been harvesting the lettuce for several weeks using a cut and come again approach. But now it's starting to bolt, so I'm going to harvest all of it to make way for another crop, probably carrots. Though the lettuce won't taste quite as good now that it's started to bolt, we're still going to eat it, and we'll be having salad for the next few days. We just harvested a crop from these two beds that we planted way back in October. This is the first time we've grown music garlic, and we're very happy with the results. It's a hardneck variety that is very cold hardy and gets great yield. Even though these beds get only about 6 hours of direct sun each day, the bulbs are a decent size. We planted them in mid-October last year and harvested them after at least a few of the bottom leaves on each plant had turned yellow. We've set the garlic out on these racks to dry in the sun. They'll stay outside as long as there's no rain in the forecast. Before the next rain, we'll shake the remaining soil off the bulbs, hang them inside for a few more weeks to cure, then snip off the greens and roots and store them in a cool, dry location. This has been a great year for sugar snap peas, which is one of our favorite spring treats. We planted these back in March and started harvesting in May. The peas reached their peak in June, providing frequent harvests and quickly growing over the top of our 7-foot tall trellis. Now that it's July, their production is slowed. Plants are starting to show signs of dying back, and we'll remove them soon. The timing is perfect, as our winter squash and sugar baby watermelons are ready to start climbing the same trellises. This bed is covered with cold frames and hoop houses during the winter, and as a result it's the first to produce crops in late winter and early spring. Now it's mostly gone to seed, but we're still harvesting a number of crops from this bed, including arugula, Egyptian walking onions, red orich, garlic chives, and dandelion greens. Other than a couple of elephant garlic plants and some rogue potatoes, this bed is dedicated to edible perennials. In this row we have Sylveta arugula, minutina, and perpetual spinach. I plan on discussing these crops in more detail in the future as part of my Not in Your Grocery Store series. Speaking of not in your grocery store, you almost certainly won't find sea kale there. Sea kale grows wild along the coast of Europe from the North Atlantic to the Black Sea. Though we mostly leave our 3 plants alone to help them get better established, we do harvest some of the larger leaves and add them to kale and collard recipes. Finally, in this section we have French sorrel and Good King Henry, which are some of the earliest crops to emerge in the spring. I'll close with another look at our tree collards. Though we've been aggressively harvesting these leaves for several weeks, the plants continue to grow taller and taller and put out more and more leaves. These plants have grown about 6 inches in just the last week. I hope you enjoyed this closer look at some of the crops we're harvesting in early July in Zone 5. As we close, I'll share pictures of other crops we're growing but haven't started harvesting yet. Well, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, remember, you can change the world 1 yard at a time.